Hey guys, welcome back to the DAHKTUBE. And before we get started, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now today we'll be doing relationships between roots and coefficients of a quadratic equation. Now we know that the general form for a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a is not equal to 0. Now if we divide this equation throughout by a, we're going to get x squared plus b over ax plus c over a is equal to 0. Now let's say that if alpha and beta are the roots of this equation, then x minus alpha and x minus beta are its factors. Now using this, if we want to find the sum of roots, we use alpha plus beta. So this dictates the sum, and that is found by saying minus b over a. And if you want to find a product of the roots, that would be alpha times beta, which is c over a. Now, the equation that you would derive would be x squared minus the sum of the roots x plus the product of roots, and that would be equal to 0. Okay, so let's say we have this question here, x squared plus 3x minus 10 is equal to 0. And we want to find the value of alpha plus beta first. We know that the formula for alpha plus beta is minus b over a. So here we know that a would be 1, b would be 3, and c would be minus 10. So that means we'll have minus 3 over 1, which is equal to minus 3. Let's say we want to find the value for alpha times beta, which is a product. We know that the formula is c over a, and in this case, c is minus 10, a is 1, so that means the answer is negative 10. So using the same question, and using the values for alpha plus beta is minus 3, and alpha beta is minus 10. So we want to determine the equation with the roots alpha squared and beta squared. So alpha squared plus beta squared is derived from finding alpha plus beta all squared, which would give us alpha plus beta times alpha plus beta. So if you expand the brackets, you're going to get alpha squared plus alpha beta plus alpha beta plus beta squared. So that's this times this, this times this, this times this, and this times this. So then you're going to get alpha plus beta all squared is equal to alpha squared plus 2 alpha beta plus beta squared. Now, based on this over here, which is alpha squared plus beta squared, you want this and this on a side by itself. So that means you're carrying over this to this side of the equation. So that means alpha squared plus beta squared is equal to alpha plus beta all squared minus 2 alpha beta. So based on what we did before, we know that alpha plus beta is equal to minus 3. So we have minus 3 squared minus 2, and we know that alpha beta was minus 10. So minus 3 squared, that's 9. Negative 2 times negative 10, that's 20. So you're going to get alpha squared plus beta squared to be 29. So this is the sum of the roots. So now we need to find the product of the roots. So the product of alpha squared and beta squared would be alpha squared times beta squared. That's the same thing as saying alpha beta all squared. Now alpha beta was minus 10. So if you square that, you're going to get 100. So then your final equation is going to be x squared minus the sum of the roots, which was 29 times x, plus the product of the roots, which is 100, and that is equal to 0. Let's say using the same equation again, we want to find this time, so b, we want to find 1 over alpha squared and 1 over beta squared. So we want to find the equation for this. So the first thing we need to do is find the sum. And the sum would be 1 over alpha squared plus 1 over beta squared. So we're adding two fractions, so that means we need to find the LCM, which would be alpha squared, beta squared. Alpha squared into the denominator would give you beta squared, and beta squared into the denominator would give you alpha squared. Remember, you're multiplying it by the ones at the top. So beta squared plus alpha squared, we had worked that out and we got a alpha plus beta squared minus 2 alpha beta, and that would be over alpha squared beta squared. So we know that the numerator is equal to 29 because we worked it out a bit previously, and we know that the denominator is 100. So your answer would be 29 over 100 for the sum. Now we have to find the product of the roots. So the product would be 1 over alpha squared times 1 over beta squared. And that's going to be 1 over alpha beta all squared. Is 1 over minus 10, and we're squaring that. So your answer is 1 over 100. So that means your final equation is x squared minus the sum of the roots, which is 29 over 100x, plus the product of the roots, which is 1 over 100, and that is equal to 0. So now what we could do to simplify this is multiply throughout by 100 to get rid of the denominator. So we're going to have 100x squared minus 29x plus 1 is equal to 0. And that would be a final answer. So that's it for today. Thank you guys for staying tuned, and I'll see you guys next time on the Dark Tube.